Oprah Winfrey is one of the most powerful women in the world. For over 40 years, she's been America's trusted voice, interviewing presidents, inspiring millions, building a media empire worth billions of dollars. But behind the cameras, behind the success, behind that famous smile, Oprah has been fighting a secret battle that nearly destroyed her. A battle she hid from the world for years. A battle that doctors warned could end her life. In 2023, Oprah made a shocking confession that stunned her fans. She revealed she's been using weight loss medication, the same drug celebrities have been secretly taking to drop pounds rapidly, but that's not the real story. The real story is what led her to that decision. The real story is the disease that's been silently attacking her body for decades. The real story is the health crisis she faced that forced her to make a choice: change everything or die. What Oprah went through is happening to millions of Americans right now, especially women over 60, and most of them have no idea until it's too late. Today, I'm going to reveal what really happened to Oprah, the diagnosis she kept secret, the symptoms she ignored for years that almost killed her, the desperate measures she finally took, and the shocking truth about her weight struggles that she's only now willing to admit. This isn't just another celebrity story. This is a warning, because what happened to Oprah could be happening to you right now, and you might not even know it. Stay with me for the next 30 minutes. What you're about to learn could literally save your life. Let's go back to 1988. Oprah wheeled a wagon filled with 67 pounds of fat onto her talk show stage. She was celebrating losing that much weight on a liquid diet. She looked slim, triumphant, radiant. The audience went wild. But what they didn't see was what was about to happen. Within 2 years, Oprah had gained back all 67 pounds plus 23 more. By 1992, she weighed more than she ever had in her life. This wasn't just about vanity. This was the beginning of a vicious cycle that would dominate the next 35 years of Oprah's life. A cycle of losing weight, gaining it back, losing again, gaining more. Up and down, like a deadly yo-yo that was slowly destroying her body. But here's what Oprah never told her audience during all those years. Here's the secret she kept hidden while publicly discussing her weight struggles. She wasn't just battling weight, she was battling a disease. A disease that affects over 100 million Americans. A disease that most people don't even realize they have until it's done permanent damage. That disease is insulin resistance, the silent killer that leads to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and early death. Let me explain what was actually happening inside Oprah's body all those years, because understanding this could save your life. Every time you eat, your blood sugar rises. Your pancreas releases insulin to move that sugar from your blood into your cells for energy. That's normal. That's healthy. But when you repeatedly eat too much sugar and refined carbohydrates, bread, pasta, rice, sweets, processed foods, your cells start to become resistant to insulin. They stop responding properly. Your pancreas has to produce more and more insulin to get the job done. Eventually, your insulin levels are sky high all the time. Your blood sugar stays elevated, your pancreas is exhausted, and your body starts breaking down. High insulin levels cause your body to store fat, especially dangerous belly fat. They make you constantly hungry. They cause inflammation throughout your body. They damage your blood vessels. They strain your heart. They increase your risk of cancer. They attack your brain and increase dementia risk. And here's the cruelest part. Insulin resistance makes it nearly impossible to lose weight. You can diet and exercise, but your body's broken insulin system works against you. You lose some weight, then your hormones go haywire and you gain it all back plus more. This is what was happening to Oprah. Every time she lost weight through extreme dieting, her body's insulin resistance got worse. Every time she gained the weight back, the damage deepened. For decades, she was caught in a trap her body had created. But her doctors didn't fully understand it. The medical community was still figuring out how insulin resistance works. So Oprah kept blaming herself. She thought she just lacked will. She thought she was weak. She thought it was her fault. In interviews from the 90s and 2000s, you can hear the self-blame in her voice. She would say things like, "I'm an emotional eater," or "I use food to cope," or "I just need more discipline." She took full responsibility for her weight struggles, never realizing there was a biological disease driving everything. By the early 2010s, Oprah's body was sending urgent distress signals, and the warning signs were getting impossible to ignore. Her blood sugar levels were dangerously high. Her A1C, the test that measures average blood sugar over 3 months, was in the pre-diabetes range. Doctors warned her, "You're on the path to full-blown type 2 diabetes." Once that happens, the damage accelerates. Heart disease, kidney failure, blindness, nerve damage, amputations all become much more likely. But there were other problems too. Problems Oprah didn't talk about publicly at the time. Her blood pressure was climbing into dangerous territory. Every time she went to the doctor, the numbers were worse. Hypertension is closely linked to insulin resistance. The two diseases feed off each other, creating a dangerous cycle that damages your heart and blood vessels. She was developing fatty liver disease. This is where fat builds up in your liver, causing inflammation and damage. Most people don't even know they have it because there are no symptoms in the early stages, but it's directly caused by insulin resistance and can progress to cirrhosis and liver failure if left untreated. Her cholesterol profile was a disaster. High triglycerides, low good cholesterol, high bad cholesterol, the classic deadly pattern of insulin resistance. This combination clogs your arteries and dramatically increases your risk of heart attack and stroke. She was exhausted all the time. Despite sleeping 8 or 9 hours, she never felt rested. Her energy was completely gone. Brain fog made it hard to concentrate during meetings and interviews. This is what chronically high insulin and blood sugar do to your body. They drain every ounce of energy you have. Her joints ached constantly. The extra weight combined with the inflammation caused by insulin resistance was destroying her knees and back. Walking was painful. Climbing stairs was agony. She would wake up in the morning stiff and sore, and perhaps most frightening, she was experiencing heart palpitations. Her heart would suddenly race for no reason. She would feel fluttering in her chest. Sometimes she felt short of breath even when sitting still. Doctors ran tests, EKGs, echocardiograms, stress tests. They found that her heart was under tremendous strain. The years of carrying extra weight, the high blood pressure, the inflammation, all of it was damaging her cardiovascular system. They told her bluntly, "Oprah, you're a walking time bomb. Your risk of heart attack or stroke is extremely high. If you don't make drastic changes immediately, you probably won't live to see 75. You might not even make it to 70. Those words hit Oprah like a... She'd been hearing warnings from doctors for years, but somehow it never felt real. She always thought she had more time. She thought she could lose the weight eventually, when she was less busy, when she had more willpower, when the timing was right. But suddenly time was up. The disease had progressed too far. She couldn't diet her way out of this anymore. She couldn't exercise her way out. She needed serious medical intervention. And she needed it now. And then came the moment that changed everything. The health crisis that finally forced Oprah to face the truth and take action. It was a regular Tuesday evening in early 2023. Oprah was at home, relaxing after a long day. Steedman was in the other room. Everything seemed normal, and then suddenly it wasn't. Oprah tried to call out to Steedman, but the words wouldn't come. Her mouth moved, but nothing made sense. Her face felt strange, droopy on one side. Her right arm went numb and weak. Terror flooded through her. She knew immediately what was happening. She was having a stroke. Steedman rushed her to the hospital. By the time they arrived, the symptoms were already starting to resolve. The whole episode lasted maybe 10 or 15 minutes. The doctors determined it was a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, sometimes called a mini-stroke. A TIA happens when blood flow to part of your brain is temporarily blocked, usually by a blood clot. The symptoms are the same as a major stroke: weakness, numbness, trouble speaking, facial drooping, but they resolve on their own within minutes or hours as the clot dissolves or moves. But here's what makes a TIA so terrifying. It's a warning. It's your body telling you that a major stroke is coming. Studies show that about 1 in 3 people who have a TIA will go on to have a major stroke within a year if they don't take aggressive action. The doctors didn't mince words with Oprah. They told her she'd just had a brush. Next time, she might not be so lucky. Next time, the clot might not dissolve. Next time, she could be left paralyzed, unable to speak, unable to care for herself. Or she could die. They explained that her insulin resistance, high blood pressure, inflammation, and damaged blood vessels had created the perfect conditions for stroke. Every day she delayed treatment was another day closer to disaster. Oprah later said that those 10 minutes changed her life. For the first time, she truly understood that she was going to die if she didn't change. Not someday in the distant future, soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. She had grandchildren she wanted to watch grow up. She had dreams she hadn't fulfilled yet. She had so much life she still wanted to live. And it was all about to be taken away by a disease she'd been ignoring for decades. That was her breaking point. That was the moment she decided nothing. Not shame, not criticism, not her pride was more important than saving her own life. Within days of her TIA, Oprah assembled a team of the top medical specialists in the country: endocrinologists, cardiologists, nutritionists, obesity medicine specialists. She told them, "I want to live. I'll do whatever it takes. Tell me what I need to do." They developed a comprehensive treatment plan: medications to control her blood pressure and cholesterol, a complete dietary overhaul, an exercise program, stress management techniques, regular monitoring and testing. But they also recommended something that Oprah initially resisted: weight loss medication. Specifically, the new class of drugs called GLP-1 agonists. Medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Mounjaro. Oprah's first reaction was no, absolutely not. She'd spent her entire adult life being judged for her weight. She'd been on every diet imaginable. She'd been criticized for gaining and losing the same 50 pounds over and over. And now she was supposed to take weight loss drugs. People would say she was cheating. They'd say she took the easy way out. They'd say she didn't have willpower. But her doctors explained something crucial. They explained that her insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction were so severe that traditional diet and exercise alone probably wouldn't be enough to reverse the damage quickly enough to prevent another stroke or heart attack. They told her that obesity isn't a character flaw or a lack of willpower. It's a chronic disease involving hormones, brain chemistry, metabolism, and genetics. And like any disease, it sometimes requires medication. They showed her the research. Studies showing that these GLP-1 medications can reduce the risk of heart attack and stroke by 20 to 30% in people with pre-diabetes and obesity. Studies showing dramatic improvements in blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, and fatty liver disease. Studies showing average weight loss of 15 to 20% of body weight when combined with lifestyle changes. Oprah struggled with the decision. She talked to therapists about her shame around taking medication for weight loss. She talked to friends who had used these drugs. She prayed about it. She thought about what message it would send to her millions of fans who had watched her struggle with weight for decades. But ultimately, she chose life. She decided that surviving was more important than what people might think. She started the medication. Let me explain what these GLP-1 drugs actually do, because understanding this is crucial. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide, PART. It's a hormone your body naturally produces in your intestines after you eat. It does several important things. It signals your brain that you're full and satisfied. It slows down how fast your stomach empties so you feel full longer. It tells your pancreas to release the right amount of insulin at the right time. It tells your liver to stop producing excess glucose. And it may even help protect your heart and blood vessels. In people with insulin resistance and obesity, the GLP-1 system doesn't work properly. Their bodies either don't produce enough GLP-1 or their bodies don't respond to it correctly. This leads to constant hunger, overeating, poor blood sugar control, and more weight gain. The medications are synthetic versions of GLP-1 that work much more powerfully than your body's natural hormone. They basically fix the broken signaling system that's been driving the obesity and metabolic disease. When Oprah started taking the medication, several things happened fairly quickly. First, her appetite decreased dramatically. For the first time in decades, she wasn't constantly hungry. She wasn't fighting cravings every moment of every day. The medication turned down the volume on the hunger signals that had been screaming in her brain for years. She could eat a normal-sized meal and feel satisfied for hours. Second, her blood sugar began to stabilize. Within weeks, her fasting blood sugar improved. Her A1C started coming down. The medication was helping her body use insulin properly again. She was stepping back from the edge of diabetes. Third, she started losing, not through extreme dieting or starvation, not through punishing exercise routines, but naturally, as a result of eating normal portions and her body finally being able to burn stored fat instead of constantly storing more. Within 3 months, she'd lost 25 pounds. Within 6 months, nearly 50 pounds. Her blood pressure improved so much she was able to reduce one of her medications. Her cholesterol numbers were the best they'd been in years. Her fatty liver was healing. Her energy came roaring back. But here's what's crucial to understand, and what many critics miss. Oprah didn't just take a pill and magically lose weight. The medication was only one piece of a comprehensive approach. She completely overhauled her diet. She works with nutritionists who specialize in insulin resistance and metabolic health. She eats a diet focused on protein, healthy fats, non-starchy vegetables, and very limited refined carbohydrates. She avoids sugar almost completely. She eats regular meals to keep her blood sugar stable rather than skipping meals or grazing all day. A typical day of eating for Oprah now includes eggs with vegetables for breakfast, a large salad with grilled chicken or fish for lunch, and lean protein with roasted vegetables for dinner. Snacks are things like nuts, Greek yogurt, or vegetables with hummus. No bread, pasta, rice, or sweets except on very rare occasions. She exercises consistently. She walks for 45 minutes to an hour almost every day. She does resistance training with light weights 3 times a week to maintain muscle mass. She practices yoga for flexibility and stress management. Nothing extreme or punishing, but consistent movement that supports her health. She prioritizes sleep like never before. She gets 7 to 8 hours every night. She's treated her sleep issues and created a bedtime routine that helps her wind down. Quality sleep is crucial for insulin sensitivity and metabolic health. She manages stress through meditation, therapy, time in nature, and pursuing activities that bring her joy. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which worsens insulin resistance and promotes fat storage, especially belly fat. She has regular medical monitoring. Frequent blood tests check her insulin levels, blood sugar, A1C, cholesterol, liver function, kidney function, and other markers. Her doctors adjust her medications and treatment plan based on these results. This is not the easy way out. This is comprehensive medical treatment of a serious disease, combined with significant lifestyle changes that require daily commitment and discipline. The medication helps control her appetite and improves her metabolic function, but Oprah is the one making healthy food choices every single meal. She's the one getting up early to exercise. She's the one managing her stress and prioritizing sleep. The medication is a tool, not a magic solution. In December 2023, Oprah decided to go public with her decision to use weight loss medication. She knew she would face criticism, but she felt it was important to be honest and to help change the conversation around obesity and medical treatment. The reaction was swift and harsh. Social media exploded with criticism. People accused her of being a hypocrite. They said she'd built her career on being relatable, on struggling with weight like millions of regular women, and now she was taking expensive drugs that most people can't afford. They said she was promoting an unhealthy quick fix. They claimed she was telling people they don't need to diet and exercise, they can just take a pill. They accused her of lacking willpower and taking the easy way out. Some critics said she was irresponsible for promoting these drugs when we don't know the long-term effects. Others said she was shilling for pharmaceutical companies. The attacks were personal, cruel, and relentless. But Oprah stood her ground. She addressed the criticism head-on in interviews and public statements. She explained her decision and why she thinks it's important to talk openly about obesity as a disease. She said that for decades, she blamed herself for her weight struggles. She thought if she just had more discipline, more willpower, more self-control, she could maintain a healthy weight. But she's learned that obesity is much more complex than willpower. She pointed out that we don't shame people with high blood pressure for taking medication. We don't tell diabetics they should just try harder to control their blood sugar without insulin. We don't accuse people with depression of lacking willpower if they need antidepressants. But somehow with obesity we expect people to overcome a complex biological disease through willpower alone. She acknowledged that the medications are expensive and not accessible to everyone, and she's advocating for insurance coverage and more affordable options. But she also said that those who can access these treatments shouldn't be shamed for using them. She emphasized that she's not promoting a quick fix. She's still following a strict diet and exercise regimen. The medication is just one tool in her comprehensive treatment plan, and she's being monitored by doctors to watch for any side effects or problems. Most importantly, she said that staying silent about her treatment because of fear of judgment was exactly the problem. The shame around obesity and around seeking medical help for obesity is what keeps people suffering in silence. It's what prevents people from getting the treatment they need. It's what allows the disease to progress until it causes permanent damage or death. Oprah said that she refused to die because she was too ashamed to use every available tool to save her own life. And she hoped that by being open about her experience, she could help other people feel less shame and more empowered to seek help. Her honesty sparked important conversations. Medical professionals spoke out supporting her decision and explaining the science behind obesity and these medications. Patient advocacy groups praised her for reducing stigma. Many people shared their own struggles with weight and metabolic disease, but the criticism continued too. And that criticism reveals something important about how our society views obesity and the people who struggle with it. We live in a culture that treats obesity as a moral failing. We see thin people as disciplined. We see overweight people as lazy, weak, lacking self-control. We believe that anyone can lose weight if they just try hard enough, and if they can't, it's their own fault. But the science tells a completely different story. Obesity is a complex disease involving genetics, hormones, brain chemistry, metabolism, gut bacteria, environmental factors, and yes, behavior. But it's not simply about eating too much and moving too little. Some people have genetic variations that make them more prone to obesity. Some people have hormonal imbalances that affect appetite and metabolism. Some people have brain chemistry differences that affect how they respond to food. Some people have metabolic damage from years of yo-yo dieting. Some people take medications that cause weight gain as a side effect. And insulin resistance, the disease that was killing Oprah, creates a vicious cycle where your body's broken metabolism actively works against your efforts to lose weight. You can eat less and exercise more, but if your insulin is sky high, your body will store fat and resist burning it. This is why Oprah yo-yo dieted for decades. It's not that she lacked willpower, it's that her body's metabolic system was broken, and no amount of willpower can overcome broken biology without addressing the underlying disease. The medications Oprah is taking help fix that broken biology. They restore proper signaling between the gut, brain, and pancreas. They allow the body to function the way it's supposed to. And that makes healthy eating and weight loss possible in a way it wasn't before. Understanding this is crucial because millions of people are in the same situation Oprah was in. They're struggling with obesity, blaming themselves, trying harder and harder with diet and exercise, and failing over and over because they have an underlying metabolic disease that hasn't been diagnosed or treated. Now let's talk about what you need to know to protect yourself. Because what happened to Oprah is happening to millions of Americans right now, and most of them don't realize it until it's too late. Insulin resistance and pre-diabetes are epidemic. Over 100 million American adults have insulin resistance or pre-diabetes. Another 37 million have full-blown type 2 diabetes. That's more than 1 in 3 American adults. And here's the scariest part. 80% of people with pre-diabetes don't know they have it. There are often no obvious symptoms in the early stages. You might feel a bit more tired than usual, a bit hungrier, but nothing dramatic enough to send you to the doctor. Meanwhile, the disease is silently damaging every organ in your body. For people over 60, the statistics are even worse. More than half of adults over 60 have either pre-diabetes or diabetes. Many have had insulin resistance for years or decades without realizing it, and by the time they're diagnosed, significant damage has already occurred. Let me tell you the warning signs of insulin resistance and pre-diabetes. These are the symptoms Oprah experienced for years before her crisis. These are the symptoms you need to watch for in yourself. Warning sign number 1. Weight gain around the belly. If you're carrying extra weight around your midsection, that's a huge red flag. Belly fat isn't just cosmetic. It's metabolically active tissue that produces inflammatory chemicals and hormones that worsen insulin resistance. If your waist circumference is over 35 inches for women or 40 inches for men, you're at high risk. Warning sign number 2. Constant hunger and cravings, especially for carbs and sweets. When your insulin is high and your blood sugar is unstable, you feel hungry all the time. You crave bread, pasta, cookies, anything with sugar or refined carbs. You might eat a full meal and feel hungry again an hour later. This is your body's broken signaling system crying out for more glucose, even though you don't actually need it. Warning sign number 3. Fatigue and brain fog. If you're tired all the time despite sleeping enough, if you have trouble concentrating, if your thinking feels fuzzy, if you need caffeine just to function, insulin resistance could be the cause. High insulin and unstable blood sugar drain your energy and affect brain function. Warning sign number 4. Difficulty losing weight no matter what you do. If you diet and exercise but can't seem to lose weight, or you lose some weight then hit a wall and can't lose any more, or you lose weight but gain it all back quickly, insulin resistance is almost certainly the culprit. High insulin levels tell your body to store fat and prevent it from burning stored fat for energy. You're literally fighting against your own hormones. Warning sign number 5. Darkening of the skin in body folds. This is called acanthosis nigricans. You might notice dark, thick, velvety patches on the back of your neck, in your armpits, under your breasts, or in your groin. This skin change is a direct visible sign of insulin resistance and should never be ignored. Warning sign number 6. High blood pressure. Insulin resistance causes your blood vessels to constrict and your kidneys to retain sodium, both of which raise blood pressure. If your blood pressure is consistently above 130/80, you need to be tested for insulin resistance and pre-diabetes. Warning sign number 7. Abnormal cholesterol levels. Specifically, high triglycerides, low HDL good cholesterol, and high small dense LDL particles. This pattern is caused by insulin resistance and dramatically increases your risk of heart disease. If your triglycerides are over 150 or your HDL is below 40 for men or 50 for women, get tested for insulin resistance. Warning sign number 8. Skin tags. These small, soft, flesh-colored growths often appear on the neck, armpits, or eyelids. While they're harmless, they're strongly associated with insulin resistance and metabolic disease. Warning sign number 9. Frequent urination and increased thirst. If you're getting up multiple times at night to urinate, or you're constantly thirsty, your blood sugar may already be elevated to diabetic levels. This needs immediate medical attention. Warning sign number 10. Tingling, numbness, or pain in hands and feet. This can be an early sign of nerve damage from high blood sugar. If you're experiencing these sensations, especially at night, get your blood sugar checked immediately. Warning sign number 11. Slow wound healing and frequent infections. High blood sugar impairs your immune system and makes it harder for your body to heal. If cuts and scrapes take forever to heal, or you're getting frequent yeast infections, urinary tract infections, or other infections, it could be a sign of pre-diabetes or diabetes. If you have 3 or more of these warning signs, you need to see a doctor and get tested. Don't wait. Don't ignore it. Don't tell yourself it's just aging or stress. The tests are simple and straightforward. Fasting blood sugar should be below. If it's between 100 and 125, you have pre-diabetes. If it's 126 or higher on 2 separate tests, you have diabetes. A 1C measures your average blood sugar over the past 3 months. It should be below 5.7%. Between 5.7 and 6.4% is pre-diabetes. 6.5 or higher is diabetes. Fasting insulin should ideally be below 5, though many labs say below 25 is normal. The truth is, if your fasting insulin is above 10, you likely have some degree of insulin resistance, even if your blood sugar is still normal. This is the earliest stage of the disease, when it's easiest to reverse. HOMA-IR is a calculation using your fasting glucose and fasting insulin that directly measures insulin resistance. A score above 2 indicates insulin resistance and means you need to take action immediately. These tests should be part of your regular checkup, especially if you're over 45, overweight, have a family history of diabetes, or have any of the warning signs. Don't assume your doctor will automatically order them. Ask for them. Request a fasting insulin test even if your doctor says it's not necessary. You need to know your numbers. Let's bring this all together. What does Oprah's story mean for you? Oprah Winfrey is one of the most successful people in the world. She has unlimited resources, access to the best doctors, and all the time and money anyone could need to focus on health. Yet she still struggled with obesity and insulin resistance for decades. She still yo-yo dieted. She still suffered. She still nearly died from a stroke caused by metabolic disease. If it can happen to Oprah, it can happen to anyone. And it is happening to millions of Americans right now. The average American eats a diet loaded with sugar and refined carbohydrates. Breakfast cereals, bagels, muffins, pancakes, sandwiches on white bread for lunch. Pasta, rice, or potatoes with dinner. Soda, juice, sweet tea, or other sugary drinks throughout the day. Snacks like chips, crackers, cookies, and candy. This diet is destroying our metabolic health. It's causing epidemic levels of insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, and type 2 diabetes. And these conditions are causing epidemic levels of heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, blindness, amputations, dementia, and early death. But here's the message of hope in Oprah's story. It's not too late. Even after decades of metabolic dysfunction, even with pre-diabetes and significant health damage, the body can heal if you give it what it needs. Oprah is 70 years old. She had insulin resistance for probably 30 or 40 years. She was on the verge of diabetes. She had fatty liver disease. Her blood vessels were so damaged she had a TI. She was heading straight toward a major stroke or heart attack. But within 1 year of comprehensive treatment, medication, diet changes, exercise, stress management, sleep improvement, her health has transformed. Her prediabetes has reversed. Her blood sugar is normal. Her A1C is in the healthy range. Her fatty liver is healing. Her blood pressure is better controlled. Her cholesterol has improved. Her energy has returned. She's lost weight and feels better than she has in decades. And she's not the... Thousands of people have reversed their insulin resistance and pre-diabetes through aggressive lifestyle intervention. Research shows it's absolutely possible with the right approach, but you have to start now. Not next week, not after the holidays, not when you feel more motivated. Now, today, because every day you wait, the disease progresses. The damage deepens. Reversing it gets harder, and the risk of complications increases. Here's what I want you to do after watching this video. First, schedule an appointment with your doctor. Tell them you want a complete metabolic panel, including fasting glucose, A1C, fasting insulin, and a lipid panel with triglycerides. Tell them about any warning signs you're experiencing. Get your numbers and know where you stand. Second, start making dietary changes immediately. Cut out sugar and refined carbohydrates as much as possible. Stop drinking soda, juice, and sweetened beverages. Reduce or eliminate bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, and baked goods. Eat more protein, healthy fats, and non-starchy vegetables. This is the single most important change you can make. Third, start moving more. You don't need to run marathons or join a gym, just walk. Aim for 30 minutes a day. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park farther away. Move your body consistently throughout the day. Fourth, prioritize sleep. Turn off screens an hour before bed. Keep your bedroom dark and cool. Aim for 7 to 8 hours per night. Good sleep is crucial for insulin sensitivity and metabolic health. Fifth, manage your stress. Find healthy ways to deal with stress that don't involve food. Try meditation, deep breathing, yoga, time in nature, talking to friends, pursuing hobbies. Chronic stress worsens insulin resistance. Sixth, if you're diagnosed with insulin resistance or pre-diabetes, work with your doctor on a treatment plan. This might include medication like metformin, which is safe and inexpensive. For more severe cases, you might need the newer GLP-1 medications like Oprah uses. Don't be ashamed to use medication if your doctor recommends it. It could save you. Seventh, be patient but persistent. Reversing insulin resistance doesn't happen overnight. It takes months of consistent effort. You'll have setbacks. You'll have times when you want to give up. But keep going. Every healthy choice you make is helping your body heal. And finally, share this information. Talk to your family and friends about insulin resistance and pre-diabetes. Share this video with people you care about. The more people who understand this disease, the more lives we can save. Oprah's near-death experience with a TIA was her wake-up call. She realized she was out of time and had to take drastic action to save her life. Don't wait for your own health crisis. Don't wait for a heart attack or stroke or diabetes diagnosis to force you into action. Let Oprah's story be your wake-up call. Let it motivate you to get tested, to make changes, to take your health seriously while you still have time to reverse the damage. You deserve to live a long, healthy, vibrant life. You deserve to feel good, to have energy, to be free of chronic disease and medications. You deserve to watch your grandchildren grow up, to travel, to pursue your dreams, to enjoy your retirement years. But that life won't just happen. You have to choose it. You have to fight for it. You have to make it a priority starting right now, today, with your very next meal and your very next choice. Oprah chose to fight. She chose life over shame. She chose health over what people might think. She chose to use every tool available to save herself. What will you do if this video opened your eyes? If it made you realize you need to take action, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We're dedicated to bringing you life-saving health information that your doctor might not have time to explain. Share this video with anyone you care about who might be at risk. Leave a comment sharing your own experience with weight, insulin resistance, or pre-diabetes. Our community supports each other, and your story might inspire someone else to take action. Thank you for watching. Now go take action and save your own life.